Jordan. I graduated from the University of North Carolina School of Law with a JD. I was what's known as an intern. In legal circles, you're an assistant to a judge at an appellate level. It's the most boring job in the world. Don't let anybody tell you any different. But you do learn a lot. After I did that, I practiced in North Carolina. But then one day I had an opportunity to come to Beverly Hills and practice with a law firm out here. So, like my friends, we loaded up the car and we headed to Beverly. In California, I worked with a number of different firms, most notably firms that had mustaches and a lot of hair. The firms I worked with gave me the background for what I do today. The firms, and I worked with 4 different firms, but we represented Lloyd's of London in their aviation defense cases. We represented companies like Coca-Cola, CNA, the governments of the Federated States of Micronesia, and these were my clients in those firms. Along with that, I'd also done substantial criminal work. I've represented white-collar criminals and murderers. I've represented individuals in personal injury cases, like Mark does. I will never do that again. I'll leave that to my friend Mark. But the background that I have led me to Orange County. And in 1995, I established my own law firm here in Huntington Beach. I worked with a number of nonprofit organizations, a number of sister city organizations. This summer we hosted a group of Japanese students from Yokkaichi, Japan. We live in our boat here in Huntington Harbor, my wife and I, and we use it to support a number of nonprofits in their fundraising activities. My law firm is up in the Co-America building. It's the corner of Beach and Warner, and it is the tallest building in Huntington Beach. And it is the only tall building in Huntington Beach. Very easy to find. But what I want to talk about today is setting up businesses, because this is pretty much what we do. When I say we, I mean me. I work with people who are starting out, who have been in business a long time, or who are about to go out of business. There are 2 types of organizations that I advise you never to do. That's a sole proprietorship and a partnership. You have unlimited liability. If you're sued, everything you own is at risk. Limited liability companies and corporations are principally what you'll see people using in business settings. We also do offshore corporations and offshore accounts. We won't go into that. We do Delaware and Nevada corporations, and we use those to protect your assets so that one can save you a lot of money in taxes if we can keep you out of California, and we can also protect some of your major assets. If you go to LegalZoom or any of the cut-rate incorporation operations, they'll never ask you this question. They will give you a format and you fill in the blank and you get a corporation. And it may be absolutely worthless if anything bad happens to you. These are the things that I want to know if you come to me. And that is, what type of business are you going to do, the size of your business, and your goals. The type of business is important. If you're going to, let's say, build rockets, you're probably going to have a lot of liability. But if you're running a lemonade stand, you may have little or no liability at all. If you intend to grow, if you want 50 lemonade stands, that's very important. That will help me decide the best way to set up your company so that you can expand. And the number of people involved. If you have partners, investors, family members, these are things that we have to take into consideration, because at some point you or one of them may want to get out of this business. And we have to look down the road to find a way to do that. Think. Do you have assets you need to protect? If you do, we can set up all your assets in one corporation, set up another operating corporation, and this operating corporation will rent all of your equipment to use. If your operating company gets sued and you end up with $1 million judgment against you, your operating company basically has nothing to lose. So, you need to raise money. And you raise money either by investors, which we can do in an LLC, LLC or even a partnership, or we can issue stock and sell stock and raise money in your corporation. What's your potential for growth? Do you really want to have an operation that can grow with you? And if you do, we can help you grow. We charge $2,500 to set up a corporation. I used to set up corporations like everyone else. We'd file your papers, we'd get a corporate book and send you on your way. And I noticed that my clients were not succeeding. So we do a package deal, and this is for an LLC or a corporation. We pay state filing fees. We set up your corporate books, your minutes, all your documentation. We do all the initial filings. We obtain the tax ID number. And more importantly, we schedule and hold 4 quarterly meetings for you, your board of directors, and your shareholders. We serve as the custodian of records, and we serve as your registered agent. And this is important. If you get sued, and this has happened to a lot of people, they take the summons and they throw it in the trash. Or they say, well, I don't think I'm really served. And suddenly they have a default judgment. As a registered agent, if the corporation is sued, they serve me. And I know what I'm looking at when I see a summons that said, you must come to court. The difference between what I do and what a lot of other business organizations and advisors and consultants do is I give legal and strategic advice. That means I not only tell you your legal position, I tell you what is the best way we can run your business. That means I'll bring in PR people, insurance people, accountants, anyone that I think may be of value to you in operating. The strategic advice is critical. Those 4 meetings I talk about, those meetings we spend a lot of time talking about how good is business today. I'm going to go past this just real fast here, but these are things that I do. And if I can't help you, I'll send you to someone that can help you. 4 types of referrals I'm looking for. Somebody going into business for the first time, people who want to evaluate how well they're doing now, if they want to improve their operations, or if they're in serious trouble, they really need to talk to me. We can minimize the damage that a bad economy can do to a business. I don't know if we have too much time for questions, but if anyone has a quick question, I'll be happy to answer it.